to Al Uqdar. He made a couple of plays. Kyle Thornton, two of their leading tacklers. And in the back end, keep your eye on Kapena Gushikin. Certainly a playmaker in the secondary. Rodgers in the backfield. Dampier going to keep it himself. And you can already see what makes him so dangerous. And this isn't a guy that just runs. I mean, he can chuck the rock, too.
He's got all the throws, and he can drop back and do it pretty comfortably. He's not the tallest guy. Listed at 5'10". He's not 5'10". But you look at the total yards this season and what the rank is in FBS, and you get to starting to realize that this New Mexico offense is no joke.
6 plays on this drive, all running plays for New Mexico thus far. 2nd and 2 coming up. Here's Rodgers, straight ahead picking up the first down. Rodgers had a season high, 122 yards and 3 touchdowns against New Mexico State.
He's a bigger, more physical guy.
5'11", 210 pounds, a transfer from Campbell University.
The Camels.
I knew you were going to go there. Put it right on the T for it. Quick pass out to the left side. It's Caleb Medford making the catch, picks up 3, maybe 4. Stephen Hall there on the tackle.
Medford's come on more and more. That's his 16th reception of the season, but it's another guy to throw the ball to for Dampier, as you see Coach Dickert, knowing that they were up against a tough offense, trying to get this defensive fit correctly. Very difficult to do with a guy like Dampier and how multiple he is.
Here's Dampier, little jump pass. We saw that last week as well. And this is Luke Wysong breaking a tackle inside the 20 and down to the 15-yard line. Wysong's first catch of the game, catch number 56 on the season.
Usually when you run a pop pass, you're going to throw it to a tight end. He tries to jump twice like an NBA player. The second jump was like a pogo stick, gets it down the field to Wysong.
Makes the handoff to Wysong. Dampier keeps it himself, picks up 8. And this offense is clicking for New Mexico.
He takes off very quickly, and you'll see this too when Mateer takes the field. Both of these guys do not wait very long when they have called, designed runs. They take off and get to the second level of the secondary in a hurry.
Dampier going to keep it again, has some space, stretching into the end zone, and he gets there. New Mexico's on the board. Seven-yard touchdown run for Devin Dampier.
Really an unsung hero is Trace Bruckler. Look at him coming from a fullback position, but the tight end coming out with a nice block on Jackson Latimua. And Dampier reads the block very well, and like we were just talking about, gets to that second level very quickly. A masterful drive called beautifully by offensive coordinator Jason Beck for Bronco Mendenhall's Lobos. Really impressive.
Just 2 passes on the drive. And Dampier responsible for
delay game.
5 carries, 36 yards, and that touchdown.
We'll play the try.
You have delay a game penalty.
Yeah, New Mexico does a lot of wacky stuff, swinging gates. They throw a lot of spaghetti at the wall to see what sticks. It's kind of the nature of how Bronco Mendenhall's coaching this team this year. That time they got a little ahead of themselves.
Nuke Drizwicki on for the extra point. Punter Aaron Rodriguez gets it down, and it's up and good. New Mexico on top 7-0 here early. What a drive. 11 plays, 75 yards, and the quarterback caps it with the first touchdown of the game.
Quarterbacks run with the patience of a running back, and that's certainly what Dampier does. And as you mentioned during the first drive, he's got every throw in that arm, and if he wasn't a little under 5'10", I think there'd have been a lot more recruiting attention on him out of Arizona.
You're probably right. Didn't need to throw much on that drive, just 2 throws and 9 rushing attempts. Leighton Smith fields the kickoff, and he is met at the 24-yard line. There is a flag on the play. That was Camden DeGraw-Tyrol. And let's see what the penalty is here before we get our first look at this Washington State offense.
See what the flag is for.
During the
Helmet to helmet
return,
contact
holding
there.
for 28, return team, 10-yard penalty from the end of the run. First down, Washington State.
Tough way to start for the Cougs.
All right, here's John Mateer. He has been remarkable over the last 3 games. 14 total touchdowns, no interceptions. And how about the completion percentage? 77%. Here's the freshman, Wayshawn Parker, necktied after a gain of 3 by Randolph Kapai.
They're running some tempo here as Mateer lines them up again. Randolph Kapai could be named Kapow after that hit. Really shocked Wayshawn Parker in the hole.
Mateer looking to throw, completes it over the middle. Carlos Hernandez missed the first half of the season, and he has been a welcomed addition back to this lineup.
Yeah, they have 3, 4 really good outside receivers now to get the ball to. Hernandez does a good job just sitting down in that zone and showing the number to Mateer.
Keeping on the ground, here's Parker, and nothing going as that Lobo defense is really stepping it up here. Dimitri Johnson from his linebacker spot. He's had 10 tackles in 3 of the last 4 games. Of course, sealed that Utah State win with an interception. As we take a look at the Cougars offense here, it's the center who keeps everybody energized. Devin Delaney, and Wayshawn Parker, the true freshman running back, has really been good the last 4 or 5 games. And then out in the perimeter, it's number 1 and 2, Hudson and Williams, that you need to keep your eyes on. Mateer, time in the pocket, looks up the left side, has a man, and it's caught. That's Kyle Williams inside the 30-yard line.
And it looked like Mateer took a little jab step there to freeze the linebackers or the safeties, just to fake that he was going to run it for a second, and then loads up and throws way downfield to Kyle Williams, who's been excellent all year. Pola Gates on the coverage, back from injury.
A little tempo, Mateer this time going the other direction, and he has Carlos Hernandez, his second catch of the game, good for 6.
You wondered coming into this game if New Mexico had enough guys in the secondary to cover all of Washington State's wideouts and what ability they have to stretch the field. Right now, Mateer starts out going left, comes back right, picks on Noah Pola Gates, and then Bryson Taylor on back-to-back plays. They have their own swinging gate there.
Yeah, they're trying to give New Mexico a little of their own medicine. Dean Janikowski on for the extra point, and we are all tied up after a 28-yard touchdown by Carlos Hernandez. Touchdown number 3 on the season. We promised points, P. I think we're going to get a lot of points here tonight in Albuquerque.
9.
Back in the ABQ, and this is how Washington State tied it up. You got Hernandez right there. He's going to run a little delay here and then just go right by Bryson Taylor, who was hurt last week. And this is really a perfectly thrown ball by Mateer and a well-run route. He is not just a quarterback who gets people open because he creates with his legs. He can drop back and drop dimes.
Well, you saw the numbers earlier, 14 combined rushing and passing touchdowns over his last 3 games. He threw for 86 yards on that drive. It was a perfect 3 for 3. Kyle Williams chipped in with that 43-yard catch. Mateer looking good early, and these two offenses doing it 2 different ways. New Mexico marched down the field on the ground, and it was Washington State through the air. And it shouldn't be a surprise with the way these two offenses have performed. Listen, it was just a couple of years ago that New Mexico was averaging 13 points per game. This season, 33. And you have Washington State almost 40 points per game. Total yards, 480 for the Lobos in the explosive plays. They are just sprinkled throughout the top 10 rankings in college football. Dampier going to take a shot up the right side. Making the adjustment in midair, not able to hold on, is Luke Wysong. Looked like he had it for a moment.
He's kind of become their deep threat and feeling a little better. Was hurt a couple weeks back, came back last week against San Diego State. Here he goes trying to get that with the left arm, and it pops out. Gushikin was on the coverage.
Yeah, Wysong missed almost 2 full games. Played in about 2 plays against Colorado State. And missed the entire next game. Here's Dampier keeping it by himself, and then he pitches it. Ball goes almost out of bounds. It's Sanders jumping on the ball.
Oh, he didn't see that coming. When you run a pitch relationship, if you're going to pitch that ball beyond the line of scrimmage, you better hope that that guy can see you. And it didn't look like Sanders thought that Dampier was going to pitch it to him after the second time he looked at him. And then he just tossed it over there. Very dangerous moment for New Mexico. I like the play call, but they were not able to execute.
Yeah, could have been a lot worse. Going to go in the books as just a loss of 1. Brings up 3rd and 11. 4-man rush from the Cougs. Dampier steps up in the pocket, fires, and off the mark. He was looking for Ryan Davis. And that's going to bring up 4th down for the Lobos.
Tough 3 and out for New Mexico, and they can't afford to do that very much, and they have themselves to blame. Not a bad effort by Wysong, who almost had the chunk play on 1st down, but an ill-advised late pitch from Dampier. Should have held that ball and got your 5 yards or whatever you could and run something more manageable on 3rd down.
Aaron Rodriguez, the 5th-year senior, on to punt. That's a heavy load, does Rodriguez. He's actually in his 1st year of nursing school this year. Blocked, almost blocked. Wow, they got really close to catching that ball. Somehow he gets it off all the way down to the 26-yard line. It was Keith Brown with the pressure. They had 2 guys right around Rodriguez. Tremendous job.
It's one thing to get there. It's another thing to take it off the foot. Nobody wants to get kicked in.
33 total touchdowns entering the week, the 2nd most in college football. And, oh, by the way, he's the only player in the country to average 250 passing yards and 50 rushing yards per game. Jake Dickert called him one of the top 10 quarterbacks in the nation and the best quarterback on the West Coast. Wayshawn Parker wrapped up by Devin Brand Epps. And they're going to need more of those kind of plays from this defense to slow down this Washington State offense that is coming in, averaging almost 40 points per game.
They've done okay against the run and the short time they've been out there, but Mateer, no pass rush, able to just pick them apart on 2 beautifully thrown long balls to the left and the right.
Trying to sneak those linebackers up in the box, showing blitz, and here it comes. Mateer gets rid of it quickly, and laying the wood down is Noah Avenger. Chris Hudson is number 1 on number 1 crime there. We do have a flag down.
Yeah, they called a penalty on this. It was a tight throw for Mateer that really did put Hudson at risk. Avenger is a tough guy and makes a lot of plays in the run game and plays like this. Looked like he tried to get his head out. That is a defensive player. But it did kind of look like he tried to hit him with the shoulder. He was led right in to Avenger. I don't know exactly what he's supposed to do in that situation as the defender. I don't think he launched into him.
By the way, what we're not talking about is the fact that he held onto the ball.
Yeah, pretty remarkable.
That's incredible.
And you see New Mexico dialing up a blitz because that's what they have to do to get some pressure on Mateer. They're not
The
getting
result of the
natural
play is
pressure.
completed pass. Personal foul, targeting number 1, Vince. The ruling in the field of targeting is under further review.
Now this would be a terrible loss for New Mexico.
All right, let's take a look at this in real speed. Now, a defenseless player, you can't contact the head and neck area. He leads with the shoulder.
Yeah, it looks like he led with the shoulder, but the shoulder hit him in the neck. I'm not exactly sure, but that's the call on the field. But we have Pereira. Pereira's going to save us. What's cracking, Mike?
Well, what do you think? I'm absolutely sure. You actually think that? No.
Pereira.
Again, you're right. You're right about him being defenseless. So it is shoulder, turns his head away. But again, like you say, is it neck or is it the upper chest? It's one of those, remember, you have to prove every aspect of it. Is he attacking? He's certainly attacking. One of those that is called, but they got to prove all the elements. It's really close to me.
Yeah, it looks close. And, you know, if you're this defender, Avinger, I mean, he's trying his best. I mean, that ball was thrown right at him, right in his way, and it looked like he's trying his best to get his head out of the play.
Yeah, and it is what they have done with this rule. I like having to prove all elements. They're not actually trying to throw people out. They want it to be really clear and obvious. They're re-officiating the play. Interestingly enough, we've been in here all day. This is the first targeting call we have had all day in our studios in LA.
You're welcome.
After review, there is no foul for targeting. However, the receiver completed the catch and made it the line to gain at the 36-yard line. It's first down.
Well, I like that call. I don't know what else Noah Avinger could have done, and I think Mike stated it correctly. He tries to get his head out of the way. He leads with the shoulder, and there was a little helmet-to-helmet contact there, but in terms of the way the rule reads now, that looked like a textbook play. But it goes in the books as a first down after an 11-yard gain. Heck of a job holding on to the ball. Here's Parker with his biggest run of the day. And this time, Avinger on the receiving end of the freshman from Sacramento who picks up the first down for the Cougs.
Getting better and better kind of over that freshman wall that he hit a couple weeks ago. Nice acceleration.
Here he is again, picking up about 7. The true freshman coming off his best game last week. 11 carries, 149 yards, a couple of touchdowns, including a 75-yard touchdown run.
Yeah, he's a 100 runner from high school, and he's starting to open up those legs.
Quick pass and another first down. This time it's Kyle Williams. It's Hudson and Williams that really lead the way, coming in with 41 and 42 catches.
And like you said, now they have Carlos Hernandez, who had the big touchdown catch, added on. And they have Josh Meredith, who's kind of like their go-to guy for everything that is small and all the dirty work. They really have a fabulous receiving room.
Williams already with 2 fantastic catches. That first one on the first touchdown drive of the game, and then he was able to hold on that big hit from Avinger. Here's Mateer showing his wheels for the first time. He's down to about the 16-yard line before being shoved out of bounds, and he really kind of just burst into the nation's conscience with that game against Texas Tech when he picked up 197 yards in week 2.
Yeah, Ben Arbuckle, the offensive coordinator, doesn't do it often, but when they do it, it's always at a very critical time where it looks like he can really gash you, like that time, calling a quarterback-designed run for Mateer. He's great at it, and he's probably not going to slide.
This time keeping on the ground with Pulalasi. They're moving the ball at will.
Pulalasi had a good game last week, too. They said he played his best game last week. They're really starting to come on and catch up to that receiver group as far as those skill running backs, guys.
6 carries, 62 yards for Pulalasi last week in relief of Parker, who actually left that Utah State game with a lower body injury in the second half. Appears to be healthy here tonight. 2nd and 5 for the Cougs. Parker checked back into the ballgame at running back. Mateer on the design quarterback run has the first down. We do have a flag down right around the middle of the field.
Yeah, maybe Christian Hilborn, the left guard, who was creeping around there and around the linebackers. Mateer's so patient, kind of waiting for that to develop, even though you knew he was going to run a bit of a quarterback draw. It's really more of just like a zone play that they run. There's no hesitation. He gets right into the line of scrimmage. Then he showed some
Holding,
patience.
number 76, offense, 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Replay second down.
And they got Pole. Here he is out here. Oh, and he caught him on the over pursuit. Mateer came back up underneath him. Looks like he was holding Dimitri Johnson there.
Puts him back out to the 18-yard line. Play action, fakes the handoff to Parker. Pressure coming. Mateer escapes it, still looking downfield. And somehow, some way, gets it off and completes the pass on the near sideline to Wayshawn Parker.
Third down.
And this is why this guy is so difficult. You call something, you finally get home. There he is, right on top of the quarterback, and he just pushes the guy away. And escapes and makes a positive play out of it. Very frustrating for the defense. But if you have a guy like Mateer and Dampier really on the other side, they erase mistakes that your offense makes.
All right, I believe we have a timeout that has been called. He's just so good in the pocket. Look at this, just shoving off Skylar Cook.
Seconds.
Stiff arm from a quarterback, and the fact that he's still keeping his eyes downfield. No, by the way, that's a running back making that catch on the sideline and staying in bounds. Pretty good.
Yeah, he's shown a lot of skill too. Wayshawn Parker has in the last few weeks, but nobody likes thinking they're about to get a sack and then getting a straight arm to the face from a quarterback who's standing flat-footed. Absolutely brilliant playing from Mateer to start this game. They're averaging about 12 yards a play.
Mateer 6 for 6 for 118 yards and a touchdown. He has been as good as he could possibly be, and that's basically how he's been for the vast majority of this season. This is his first season as a starter, backed up Cam Ward, who of course he's a Heisman Trophy candidate at Miami this year. Learned a ton backing him up. And he has more than filled the shoes for the Cougars. 3rd and 3. Mateer with time. Complete to the 5-yard line. This time it's Hudson.
Gonna be pretty close there.
Very close. Looked to be right on the line. And that's Nigel Williams, who is dropping to the ground, and he's grabbing that left shoulder area.
Timeout for an injury.
So we have an injury timeout as Williams is being tended to on the field.
Well, they had a moment last week at San Diego State where they lost Noah Pola-Gates, Bryson Taylor, and Nigel Williams all on one play. 3 of the 4 starters in the secondary, or 3 of the 5. Getting up now.
Here's another look at the play. Mateer with plenty of time. Little crossing route from Hudson, the Oregon transfer, first year with Wazoo after spending 4 years in Eugene.
Always say it, nothing out there hits harder than the ground. And that seems to be what happened to the upper body of Nigel Williams there.
He does indeed pick up the first down. Javinsky Schlenbaker in at running back. They fake the handoff to him. Mateer looking downfield, decides to cut it back inside, and then he's in the house for a score. And John Mateer doing it with his arms and his legs, as he has done all season long.
And this is the kind of drive it's been. New Mexico thinking they have a chance. Devin Brandon Epps bearing down on him, and he cuts back, takes advantage of the over pursuit. Kapai misses the tackle, and Mateer just a nose for the end zone, and an all-around just great football player, top to bottom. One of the great surprises of the year has been John Mateer at Washington State in 2024.
Janikowski on for the extra point. It's up, it's good. A 7-point lead for Washington State. And there's a look at Mateer. He also got a little help from his tight end, Billy Revere III, who cuts it back. Look at that.
Touchdowns this season. That was his 12th. He's got at least 1 in all but 1 game this year.
And in this new era of college football, this NIL era, Cam Ward gets a big deal to go to Miami. John Mateer already being wooed by other schools, and obviously a cause for concern among Cougar Nation.
Have to give him the farm.
Want to keep him there. He was actually asked about that this week, and he said, listen, man, I'm only focused on this right now, but the new NIL world we live in, it's a reality. How about the November rushing attack for the Lobos? It has been as good as any in the country. And when you add the numbers together, Ashton Jeanty-esque. These are the 3 leading rushers in the last 2 weeks in college football. 2 of them on the same team in the same backfield right now, Eli Sanders and Devin Dampier. Sanders in motion. Dampier with all day. Still looking downfield, has a man, and going up to get it is Luke Wysong. What a catch by the junior from Rio Rancho, New Mexico.
This is what you call extending the play to throw. It looked like a couple times like he was going to take off, but he saw Gushikin bearing down on him and made a great improvisational play with Wysong.
This time keeping it on the ground with Sanders, tries to turn the corner, and he does, out inside the 45-yard line before Keith Brown makes the stop. And that last pass was what defensive coordinator for Washington State, Jeff Schmedding, was telling us. Listen, we've told our secondary, you're going to have to cover a lot longer than you're used to with this guy, because he can scramble around for 6, 7 seconds, 8 seconds.
Yeah, that was a little too long for anybody's liking if you're Schmedding.
This time the defense just attacking the middle of the field. Tanner Moku among those making the stop.
But the first down is a big deal, and this manageable 3rd down also a big deal for the Lobos, just to try to stay on the field. Their defense is thin. They played an ungodly amount of plays in the last game against San Diego State and gave up very few points. They're 0 for 2 so far on 3rd down, and Wazoo just rolled everybody back in as the quarter went down.
First quarter has come to an end. Washington State with 2 touchdowns on the board. It's senior night here in Albuquerque. Lobos still very much in this one. All his first year as the head coach at New Mexico, 139 career wins. 7th most among active FBS coaches. And this is a guy who's very in tune with his emotions. He's all about leadership and building young men. It really is about more than football.
He's impressive. Yeah, impressive guy to talk to. You really have to think about the questions you're asking him. You don't want to look stupid.
3rd and 1. Here's Dampier with another late pitch. This time Sanders holds on to it, picks up the first down, but we do have a flag down. Another dangerous pitch from Dampier.
Yeah, the flag was in the neighborhood of holding, and Sanders is trying to say, stop pitching me the ball past the line of scrimmage. Stop it. That one was behind him, and Dampier's got a smile on
Holding,
his face.
number 66, offense, 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Replay 3rd down.
That's the center, Mackenzie Agnello.
Well, Dampier's fun to watch. It would have been a 14-yard play, but when you get past the line of scrimmage and you throw that guy a basketball pass behind him, you're asking for chaos. And you see the hold right there from Agnello right in the middle.
So from 3rd and short to 3rd and 11.
Terrible blow for the Lobo.
Pressure coming up the middle. Dampier takes a big hit, still gets it off. And there in coverage was Stephen Hall. He's the best covered corner for Wazoo, and he had perfect position.
Yeah, he was in really good position and denied the real estate. But Kyle Thornton coming on the blitz, looping around and getting by Unamba. And here it is over there. He gets his head back around. A little handsy, but in good position. And if you're in a good position and you get your head around, usually the flag does not come out.
Aaron Rodriguez on to punt. Tony Freeman deep for Wazoo, catches it at the 6-yard line. And that is where Washington State will take over. John Mateer has been perfect in this one.
John the Engineer Mateer manufacturing touchdowns like it's nobody's business. I stole that from the college football sickos just now. But he deserves it. I mean, this guy has been a unit, a great leader all year long. He's overcome the adversity that they faced, and he has come out on fire here in Albuquerque. See if it can continue. He's got a long field to go.
Keep it on the ground with the freshman. Parker out past the 10-yard line. All in the family with Mateer. His parents were both athletes. He swam in college. His dad went on to become a prominent swimming coach in Texas. But he gravitated towards the land sports, football and baseball. Said his folks were huge really in everything he did. Taught him a lot of discipline. 2nd and 6. Flags flying, pass complete. Kyle Williams hauls it in for the first down, but that flag was thrown early.
Yeah, it looks like he caught the defense out of position and had a free play, but instead of just firing it deep, he threw it short to Kyle Williams, just kept the play call going.
Offside, number 89, defense in the nuke is off the snap.
To
that penalty is declined. Result of the play is the first down.
Transfer from Cal, getting a little overzealous there, as Mateer seems to be pulling all the right levers.
Another first down for the Cougs. Pulalasi in the backfield alongside Mateer. Pulalasi initially stacked up at the line of scrimmage, does a nice job to squirt free and pick up 6.
New Mexico struggling tackling, at least the first guy getting to Mateer, Pulalasi, Parker. They're having trouble finishing those plays.
Pulalasi again looks to be just shy of the line to gain.
Another missed tackle that time by Avinger, who was in position in the backfield. 3rd and short situation now.
You know, it's funny, we talk about Wayshawn Parker, what a good year it's been for him as a freshman. Pulalasi, also a redshirt freshman, and he did indeed pick up the first down. So you have a couple of freshman running backs to pair with Javinsky Schlenbaker, who's just a sophomore. These guys are going to be around for a long time. And this time, Pulalasi wrapped up in the backfield. It was Dimitri Johnson.
They've been getting very good linebacker play from Randolph Kapai. Dimitri Johnson wearing the number 22 there, shooting the gap, getting right by Pole and making the play. Pulalasi's been able to step out of a couple of those tackles tonight. Not that time. Dimitri Johnson out of Rohnert Park, California, really improving and growing in Bronco Mendenhall's first year.
Three-man rush coming at Mateer. Wide open is the tight end, Cooper Mathers, his first catch of the game, and it is a big one inside the 20-yard line before he's finally taken down by Noah Pola-Gates.
They really had to hold their blocks out there. Lili Fa'amo'e, in particular, holding his block on the edge, allowing Mateer to create. He gets the ball to Mathers, who's really come on, especially in the red zone. They usually don't use him when they're having that much field to work with. That time he shows his long stride and his ball security. They love it on the sideline.
A 50-yard gain for Mathers, his longest of the season. He had just 117 total receiving yards coming in. He has been a touchdown machine. Here's Mateer, fakes the handoff, keeping himself and unable to get back to the line of scrimmage. Skylar Cook, who was on the wrong end of a stiff arm a couple of series ago, wraps him up for a loss of 1.
Yeah, they really try to get you running to the sideline, all the way to the sideline, open up your hips, get you to over pursue, and then come up underneath. That's what Mateer tried that time, and Skylar Cook wasn't having it, made a sure tackle and grabbed onto that jersey.
Matier looking to the right side. Clean pocket, over the middle, into the end zone. Touchdown, Kyle Williams.
Washington today. Kyle Williams on the 20-yard touchdown reception.
A 20-yard throw from John Matier, and he is making it look easy out here.
And the holding penalty on the wacky option play sets New Mexico back. And he just absolutely spins Bryson Taylor around, going inside, expecting something else. What a beautiful route by the senior from Inglewood, and another flawless throw by John Matier, who's making it look easy.
Matier 10 for 10, 205 yards with 2 touchdown passes, and we have just under 10.5 minutes to go here in the first half. Matier has been magical thus far in Albuquerque. This is a team that needs to win out to keep those dreams of making the college football playoff alive. So far, so good for the 27th at 8 Eastern on Fox. 8 plays, 93 yards, capped by a Kyle Williams 20-yard touchdown catch. And all he has done lately is score touchdowns. That's his 4th touchdown catch in the last 2 games. And how about Matier here tonight? Perfection is the word. 10 of 10, 205 yards and 2 touchdown passes. Oh yeah, he's run for 24 yards and another score. So
there's a new Johnny Football, seems like.
For sure. All returned out past the 20-yard line. And it's D'Angelo Mays on the kick return, the freshman from Syracuse High School in Utah. Friday night on Fox, it's a Big Ten showdown in prime time as Purdue takes on Michigan State. It all starts at 8 Eastern, only on Fox. So New Mexico needs to get something going here, and they certainly have the man to do it, Devin Dampier.
They've just got to be more consistent in their execution on 3rd down and find a way to stay on the field.
Design run play right up the middle for Dampier, picks up about 3.
And the difference between this week and last week is Kyle Thornton, the voice of this entire Washington State team, makes the play. The difference is you just don't see Eli Sanders running free early in this game like he was last week against San Diego State, and that really opened things up for the Lobo offense. They've moved the ball okay, but they've sputtered. First drive was brilliant, not so much since.
Pressure comes, fakes the handoff to Sanders, tries to squeeze it in over the middle to Ryan Davis. He was unable to hold on. Ethan O'Connor was there defensively. First 3 possessions, they score their first time out, drive 75 yards, then it's back-to-back punts. And now faced with another 3rd down situation here. They're 0 for 3 so far. And the play is stopped once again.
I think it was a late substitution there from
Prior to the snap, first, charged him out of the half, Washington State.
So they
30
took the
seconds.
timeout to avoid the penalty.
There's Dickert on the sideline. Not too pleased, but it cost you a timeout. You know, the interesting thing when you look at the Cougars is they have been so much better at home than they have been on the road. Now, some of it has to do with scheduling, but they're averaging twice as many points at home. The point differential obviously huge. And how about the turnover margin?
Well, if
-1 on the road, +10 at home.
Been to Pullman, Washington, you know, that's a place where you go up and you walk onto the field and they lock the door behind you and they don't let you out until the game's over. It's a desolate place for a lot of people if you've never been before, and a very, very unique and awesome college football environment. But Martin Stadium is its own thing. And when you get the Cougs out of Pullman, they're a little bit different, and they're a little bit different in that place. But that being said, they found a way to get over the hump on the road against Fresno, against San Diego State. And that's why they're in the position they are right now, winning games on the road, but not as convincingly as at home, as you mentioned.
Oh, indeed, and they are almost to their road average, and we have 9.5 minutes to go in the first half here in Albuquerque. Huge third down play, trying to convert for the first time tonight. Dampier taking a shot up the left side and overshoots Ryan Davis.
Another 3 and out for the Lobos, and to give the ball back to John Mateer with your thin and beat up defense is a really easy way to get down 21 points quick.
Well, we talked to offensive coordinator Jason Beck and obviously Bronco Mendenhall this week, and they like to try to keep the defense on its heels, and that is not easy to do when you have these 3 and outs like they've had on their last 3 possessions. Tony Freeman back deep. Field and Aaron Rodriguez punt. Inside the 14-yard line, makes a couple of nice moves to get out to the 18. And another look at this Washington State offense coming up after the break. They have been offense back out on the field, and if you wanted to draw up a game plan and you were hoping for perfection, it's been pretty perfect so far for the Cougs.
It's 10 for 10. He's run the ball beautifully. He's run the offense great. His throws have been flawless. New Mexico's in trouble.
Makes a handoff on first down, rolls out to the right, throws to the right, and it's another first down for the Cougs. This time it's Carlos Hernandez. They do have a penalty flag down.
Mateer's just having a great time out there.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, number 55, defense for a high hit to the quarterback. The 15-yard penalty is added to the end of the run and automatic. First down.
Yeah, that was Harris, who looked like
Officials timeout for an injury.
thought he was going to have a sack or at least a hurry, and he gets in the air and then just kind of slaps Mateer in the face on his way down.
And then the injured player down, I believe, is Cam Watts.
Yeah, to Texas Tech. So what happened to him? Not sure, as he dove down to try to get to the feet of Hernandez. Jake Dickert's loving it. Another big chunk play for Washington State. It looks like every time their offense hits the field, it is bad news for the Lobos.
And there is Cam Watts. You mentioned the injuries last week when they lost 3 starters in the secondary on 1 play. As we look at the numbers for Mateer, career high in terms of consecutive completions to start a game, already 225 passing yards. Let's not forget, he does have a rushing touchdown as well. So John Mateer, a redshirt sophomore quarterback, in his first season as a starter, responsible for every single Washington State touchdown thus far.
And this is about as composed and sharp as he has looked, especially on the road, or really all year. I mean, they are really on fire.
So it was a 15-yard penalty on top of a 16-yard gain. So 31-yard gain essentially for the Cougs. We're right at midfield. Rossi wrapped up after a 5-yard gain. Going to bring up second and about 4.
I mean, these little plays that are just 3-4 yard gains from the Washington State backs feel like victories for the Lobos defense, but they're not. They're making it a more manageable second down for Ben Arbuckle to carve them up with the passing game. And why not when Mateer has been so flawless?
Another clean pocket for Mateer, a little sidearm throw. He had a man wide open. It was Chris Hudson, and that's his first incompletion of the game. How can he possibly miss that?
Can't all be wedding cake. He's about 10 yards away from Christian Ellis, who was the closest guy. Looked like he kind of tried to sidearm that and just got away from him on a cold night in Albuquerque. Opportunity here for the Lobos.
Just the second third down of the night for Washington State. They've been cooking. Tight end Cooper Mathers in motion. Mateer looks that direction, back to the middle. Still plenty of time. Now the pressure's coming. Mateer nowhere to go. And that's going to bring up 4th down. It was Antonio Harris who was called for that penalty earlier, making amends with the pressure.
Yeah, he really was relentless. Look at Harris, number 55, on the right side, just fighting and fighting and fighting. Stays after it, sprints after Mateer. He tries to cut up the field. Santana's in the area as well, but a great job by New Mexico getting off the field in what could have been a real death knell if Washington State goes down and scores another touchdown.
Nick Haber's punt. Fair caught at the 12-yard line. Too close.
Too close.
Didn't give him enough room to make the catch.
Kenna Shamworthy.
Here's another look.
Check out Ganis Shamworthy come in there with his head.
Whoop.
He almost touched his forehead to his sternum, right between the B and the O, and Lobo.
Catch is still made. Flag is down. And
cannot be within a yard directly in front of him. Look at that guy's name is so long it barely fits on the jersey.
got to give him that halo, that 1-yard halo, like you have around your head. So New Mexico with the ball on the 20-yard line, 29-yard line rather. Four-man rush. Dampier gets it off. It's Trace Bruckler, the tight end, putting him in a second and short situation.
He's got a high percentage when they throw it to him. He always catches it. He's got the highest target percentage as far as catching the targets on the team. Bruckler, we saw a nice block from him on the touchdown. Dampier started the game 2 for 2. Now just 2 for 7 after that completion. We'll see if that gets him going.
Keeping on the ground with Sanders. He dives ahead as Buda Alukta is there to make the stop, but not before Sanders picks up the first down.
Big moment for New Mexico. Get a stop, force a penalty in special teams, get a first down. This is the way you claw your way back in the game. I thought Sanders did a good job last week without their big, angrier back, Rogers, running out the game and getting tough yards against San Diego State down the stretch. Those were some tough yards right there.
Yeah, 173 yards last week, not bad for Sanders. And here the aforementioned Rogers doing his thing as well. So back-to-back first down runs for New Mexico, and the Lobos on the move.
Rogers played a little last week, did not feel great. Comes out this week looking more explosive. Unamba makes a nice shield block for him to get to the edge. And all of a sudden, the Lobos, after the stop, have woke up again. Very interesting how complementary football works and how one side can ignite the other.
That 19-yard gain was the longest New Mexico play of the night. Dampier swings it outside. He was looking for Rogers. Had a little too much heat on that. And Buda was coming too.
Yeah, Alukta was about to knock him into Old Mexico. And he laid out to get that one.
Dampier really looking to find his groove. He's just 4 of 10 through the air.
He's not scared to make wacky decisions, is he, Dan?
No, he's had a couple of errant pitches as well. You could see his running back Eli Sanders saying, don't pitch those anymore. Takes the hand of pressure coming from Washington State. A man wide open and New Mexico hits. It's Caleb Medford hauling it in for the long touchdown. That was just what the doctor ordered for the Lobos, a 42-yard score.
The OC, Jason Beck, tries so hard to make this offense undefinable, and that was such a strange formation. They had Luke Weissong in the backfield. Rogers, the running back, lined up as a receiver, and the motion confused Washington State so much that they weren't able to handle it.
Yeah, and it seemed like the Cougs sent the house as well. There was a lot of pressure coming. Dampier does a nice job hanging in there. And Medford wide open. We got a ball game, folks.
On him, because he's not supposed to be there. Gushikin and Durant can't figure it out. The ball goes deep to Medford. The Lobos back in the game. Really well-designed play by Jason Beck, Bronco Mendenhall's offensive coordinator and former backup quarterback at BYU when he was there.
And they say they don't really want to define their offense because it makes it hard on the defense. You can't fight something when you can't name it, so they don't want to name it. And they want to make it difficult on defenses, obviously with motions and shifts pre-snap, and that was a perfect example of something right there where it was just hard for the defense to read what was going on.
Putting people in positions where you don't normally see them confuses the defense in the heat of battle. And that got them back in the game. We'll see after the stop if the Lobos can muster another one against John Mateer.
Mateer throwing his first incompletion of the game on the last drive with a quick pass out to Kyle Williams, and he takes care of the rest, picking up the first down.
Deliberate fake out to the edge like a big long pitch, and then comes back and throws it to the other side where the screen is set up. Really well-designed play by Coach Arbuckle.
Cougs keeping it on the ground with the freshman Parker, and he rolls ahead for a pickup of 7 or 8.
Good to see Nigel Williams back in the game. Transfer from Northwestern making that play, but Cougs are moving again.
Running that tempo offense, plenty of time for Mateer in the pocket. He's looking to run, switches hands, tries the stiff arm, breaks a tackle, picks up a first down, and then slides at the 45-yard line. What a magician he is.
And New Mexico does everything right. They only rush 3, they drop 8. Mateer's got nowhere to go. Now he can't push up because you're defending that. He strings himself out, and the spy, Jaden Wilson, misses the tackle.
Another quick pass, this time to Meredith. And that's going to bring up second down and no gain. Might even lost a couple on that.
Nick Howell, the defensive coordinator for the Lobos, feels like he's starting to get his guys a little bit more in tune with what Washington State's trying to do. Not as many chunk plays as we saw earlier, but you see them huffing and puffing too. They've been out there a long time, and they were out there an abnormally long time last Friday night.
There's Kyle Williams in the backfield, and he runs a route, and Mateer just throws it hard and low, getting rid of it.
Antonio Harris is doing a good job on these 3-man rushes, 4-man rushes, getting some pressure on Mateer and not just let him sit back there in a rocking chair in first class and distribute the ball to as many weapons. It's starting to become a little harder for the Cougs, and here's another great opportunity for New Mexico to get off the field.
Harris, the Indiana State transfer,
Sycamores
in his first year as a Lobo. Let's see if they bring the pressure here on 3rd and 11. Another 3-man rush. Mateer keeps it himself, and if he hadn't run into his own man, I think he would have had the first down. He runs into Josh Meredith on that head-first slide.
He thought he had it. Havinger ends up hitting him pretty hard to end the play. Mateer with that weird little zone draw look just gets into the hole so quickly and really runs like a running back with the lead and vision of a running back, and they're going for it.
4th and 1 in plus territory, 7-point lead here in the first half. Why not? Keep it on the ground with Schlenbaker. He's the hammer.
Might have spun for it.
Really close.
He might have spun for it right at the end and got that ball down. Javinsky Schlenbaker.
Yep, they got it.
Yeah, that second effort, and it looked like the Lobos got the push and were able to stop him there, but they just could not Yeah, he rolls forward on top of the defender, Pola Gates. That's your friend in the short yardage world, laying on top of a guy. Because you're not down.
Rolling for the first down. Worked out for Schlenbaker.
Feels like a very uncomfortable mattress.
I can imagine. Mateer. Quick pass to Meredith. Meredith does a nice job just to pick up 6. Cougs moving once again here in Albuquerque. New Mexico. Well, Travis Hunter certainly making it a lot harder for Ashton Jeanty.
No doubt.
Here's Parker, another pretty good running back on 2nd and 5. Antonio Harris again with a nice play to bring up 3rd down.
Yeah, Harris is really collapsing that edge. Young man out of Chicago, we mentioned, transfer from Indiana State. Leads a team in TFLs. And really the thorn in the side of Mateer so far, if there is one, tonight in New Mexico. Mateer's going crazy, 238 yards passing and 2 touchdowns.
Cougars just 1 for 3 on 3rd down so far tonight. 3rd and 3 here. Mateer launching one into the end zone, and it's Kyle Williams again. Are you serious? His 5th touchdown in 2 weeks.
Been very difficult on the perimeter for Bryson Taylor, Noah Pola Gates. One-on-one with this deep threat, Kyle Williams, and he's got so much space there. He's able to just kind of kill the motor and let that ball drop in because his positioning was so superior and such a beautifully thrown ball from Mateer. He's on a great connection kind of momentum wave with Kyle Williams.
Extra point by Janikowski is good. So Washington State has him doubled up again, a 2-touchdown lead. Here's another look at the pass. This was a thing of beauty.
It's just one-on-one. You see the safeties are all mugged up. Everybody's trying to play the run. So it is on Bryson Taylor to limit Kyle Williams out on the edge, and he just can't do it. The blitz doesn't get home. Mateer untouched. And you see how he could just slow down and let that ball drop in because he had so much room. Sideline wasn't close, and he had such great position because of the beginning of the route, just running free.
10 plays, 75 yards, and another touchdown pass from Mateer. He has 3 of them. Williams on the receiving end of 2. How about the numbers for Williams? 6 catches, 128 yards, couple of touchdowns. This is a game for most quarterbacks. 3 touchdown passes and 266 yards.
For some, it's a career. He's been one of the great surprises this year in college football, and you can't really say that anymore when you're creeping up on Thanksgiving. He's been a household name week in and week out. And after all the adversity that the University of Washington State has come across with the conference stuff and Rolovich and his dismissal and Dickert taking over and Cam Ward and all that different stuff, to have this guy rise up like a phoenix and take the helm of this program and make Pullman proud is pretty fun to watch.
Well, I can imagine the fan base when they lost Cam Ward wondering what they were going to do or what he was going to do at quarterback, and he has been every bit as good as Cam Ward was last year at Washington State. He has been spectacular.
Even more effective.
And leading them to the 2nd best start in program history at 8-1. And now, with 1 minute and 10 seconds left here in the half, certainly this offense for New Mexico, we've seen it before. They can get up and down the field. We'd like to do that again before halftime. Dampier thrown. Wide open is Ryan Davis. And that is another first down out of bounds around the 42.
They really want to stay within 2 scores, Dan, and they've been able to do that with the long play, the beautiful design from Jason Beck recently. Now in the 2 minute, we'll see if Dampier can get a little bit more efficient throwing the ball.
looking downfield. He's going to run it. Dampier picks up the first down, stays in bounds.
I mean, that guy is fast. That's Buda Alupta, who runs pretty well, but 232-pound linebacker. Dampier sitting there trying to make a decision, and he's still running away from the linebacker to get the first down.
That was a 13-yard gain. Dampier letting it go again. And that one's incomplete. We'll stop the clock. Bring it up 2nd and 10.
And in 2 minutes, in those kinds of situations, incomplete passes aren't the end of the world, especially on early downs. It stops the clock, allows Dampier to wipe off his shield, get a play call, maybe take a deep breath and attack again. But looking okay so far on this 2-minute drill for Bronco Mendenhall's guys. Couple of first downs.
4-man rush from Washington State. Dampier backing up all the way back to the 35. And just gets rid of it. That would have been a massive loss because he dropped back about 15 yards, rolled out another 15 yards.
We've seen Mateer do that a little bit tonight, but he stayed a little bit more level and hasn't given up ground like that. Dampier almost giving Bronco Mendenhall a heart attack on that one.
Ram Stevenson was given chase. And he is a hard man to catch, is Dampier. 3rd and 10 here. Huge 3rd down play for the Lobos. Up the left side, he was trying to find Nick Trujillo.
Looked like he had him open right in the little hole between the safeties and the linebackers. See what happened there. He's able to step into the throw, and not sure if Trujillo expected it at that point, but that's when he was open.
Trujillo, the redshirt freshman from Rio Rancho. Same high school as Luke Wysong.
Tigers.
Did you really look that up?
Los Lunas High School.
They're so good. Rodriguez with the end over end punt. Takes a good bounce and then downed right around the 1-yard line. Rodriguez doing his job. A 44-yard punt tomorrow on Fox. Great slate of NFL action coming your way. You can catch NFC North rivals going head-to-head as Jordan Love and the Packers take on Caleb Williams and the Bears, or the Seahawks battle of the Niners. It's all coming up tomorrow on Fox. Check for the game in your area. Got Caleb Williams is down and up and up and down. It's been a roller coaster ride, as it so often is for rookie quarterbacks in the NFL.
I want to see better body language, Dan. The kind that you display.
Pride myself on my body language, P, as you know. You can tell right now, standing at attention. Never been a straighter standing play-by-play man in a press box or a play-by-play booth than now.
Great posture, that's what we always say.
Well, what a display by this Washington State offense here in the first half, putting 28 points on the board, 3 touchdown passes for Mateer.
Of who they are, and if Dampier was throwing it as well as Mateer in the first half, Dan, we'd still be in the first half.
That is a great point. We've seen him do that this season. He's not just a running quarterback who is inadequate throwing the football. He puts up big passing numbers as well. He's one of the best pouncers in the Mountain West Conference, and Bronco Mendenhall going to be very interesting to see what he drew up in the locker room at halftime and how they plan to attack things here in the second half. But first things first, his defense needs to get a stop. Let's take a look at By the Number, sponsored by Lowe's. Score with the Lowe's app. Download now. Last week compared to today for this Lobos offense in terms of points allowed, it was a season low last week that they allowed in that game for New Mexico to San Diego State, despite all the injuries on defense. A very impressive performance, and they would love nothing more than to get off the field here to force a 3-and-out for Washington State, but that's been few and far between. And patient running by the freshman, Wayshawn Parker, to pick up the first down. So much for the 3 and out.
Yeah, they brought around a puller, and he came right through the hole, and Parker, very patient, as you said, followed him right through, and here comes the Cougs' pace again, right out of the locker room.
All kinds of time with a 3-man rush coming in. And another sidearm release from Mateer off the mark.
It feels like that's been their best bet. When they only rush 3 and they drop 8, it's been harder for Mateer to find people. You see Christian Ellis kind of drop late too and come close to that one. I would expect to see a lot more of that, or a mix of that, from Nick Howell as the night goes on. If they can keep the ball in Mateer's hands, running sideline to sideline back there, he can't hurt him as much.
3-man rush again. This time it's too high for the intended target. That was Carlos Hernandez. And something we haven't seen tonight. 2 straight incompletions from Mateer.
Yeah, coming out of the locker room and looking human. Throws that one up, and looks like Hernandez could have come down with it. He really had to stretch and jump for it. He's 6 feet tall. But an opportunity, as we talked about, Dan, for a dream scenario for the Lobos. Get off the field quick.
3rd and 10 for Mateer, looking to the sideline, changing the play. It's Pulalasi in the backfield alongside Jean Mateer. Up the right sideline, just a little too far for Chris Hudson.
But you notice Hudson wasn't all alone, as was the scenario for all the deep throws in the first half. Nigel Williams and Christian Ellis, a little bit of safety help there. Still, if that ball was on target, pretty sure Hudson takes that to the house, or at least has a big chunk gain. It happened. The Lobos got him off the field coming out of the locker room.
It wasn't a 3 and out, but it'll do the job, as they're going to get the ball back after the Nick Haberer punt. The rugby-style kick, fair caught by Ryan Davis at the 20-yard line. 43-yard kick, and here's a look at the run game. I mean, this has been the bread and butter this year. 16 carries, 92 yards in the first half. Listen, 5.8 yards per carry, not too bad, but you're talking about 2 guys in Dampier and Eli Sanders over the last 2 games, averaging 10, 11 yards per carry. They've been on fire.
Yeah, and the Eli Sanders component has not been here tonight.
Pass complete and then dropped. Did he make the catch in front of another incomplete on the field? That was Luke Wysong.
Luke Wysong versus Kaperna Gushikin. Looks like the tail end of it, he was kind of trying to secure the ball, and it was always moving.
Keep it on the ground on 2nd and 10. This is Bakari Rogers. A whole lot going there. Picks up about 3.
Now you got about a 3rd and 7. The Lobos in these situations, as you see David Gusto, one of the great interior players for Washington State, really their best up front.
He's been awesome this year, just a difference maker. They say he's probably the unsung MVP of the defense, according to defensive coordinator Jeff Schmedding.
We've seen some crazy stuff here on 3rd down. What are they going to do?
Inside handoff, and they pick up the first. That's Eli Sanders.
They want to get the ball to Sanders, but they bring him from an unorthodox place from the slot, and they run kind of an end around and bring a puller with him. Sanders kind of slips down, but still gets the first down. Nice creative play call from Beck.
Oof, quick pass. Wysong was slipping before he had an opportunity to make that catch. 2nd and 10 coming up.
Yeah, he came up with it. Clock is still running, but
We just haven't seen that big run from Eli Sanders that we've seen the last couple of weeks. He faked the handoff to him. Dampierre's going to keep it himself. Does a nice job making the first man miss. And that's going to bring up a 3rd and short situation.
And that's Kyle Thornton. That's their best defender. Kapenagushikin ends up making the play, but Kyle Thornton with a great shot at Dampier and can't get him down, creates a manageable 3rd down for New Mexico, and they just converted a less manageable one.
1 for 6 on 3rd downs tonight. This is 3rd and 2. Dampier going to do it himself, and he does.
What they do is so interesting to try to confuse the defense and generate the yardage they need situationally. That time, they just ran Nakari Rogers like a dive to the other side just to kind of hold that side of the defense and brought Dampier on the other side. Pretty simple, but it worked.
On play action, Dampier is complete to Luke Wysong, and the Lobos have another 1st down.
Luke Wysong, a local guy, their best receiver. Nice deliberate cut. Shows his numbers to Dampier. Adrian Wilson makes the play, but not before another 1st down for the Lobo.
Pitch out to Rogers. Rogers has a little bit of room, cuts it back up inside. Nice, tough running by Nakari Rogers, and it's another Lobo 1st down.
This is the most efficient pitch of the night we've seen from Dampier. Great read, gets it out on the speed option to Rogers, who's their more inside back for 13 yards. Rumbles for it. Washington State starting to miss some tackles here.
Dampier looking to the left side, that's where he goes. Pass is initially caught by Wysong.
Ruling on the field,
Either
an
dropped it
incomplete
or it was
forward
poked
pass.
out.
2nd down.
Now that's the 2nd one it looked like Wysong has had on this drive, and then he doesn't come up with, and then he caught another one that was really short. You have to say that's a great job by the redshirt freshman, Adrian Wilson out of Dallas, also known as Boogie Wilson, who ripped it out.
Tremendous play by Wilson. Dampier on the draw. Dampier with room, keeps his feet. Dampier into the end zone. A 33-yard touchdown run for the sophomore from Phoenix, Arizona.
Well, that's the kind of electricity we were talking about that Dampier has. It's the same as the short yardage. They run Rogers to the right side, right at the legs of the end, and Dampier just takes it right up the hash, breaks a couple of tackles, but the speed and suddenness of how quickly he was into the secondary shocked those Cougs.
The extra point from Drizwicki is good, and back to a 1-score ball game. Devin Dampier doing it with the wheels. Not an easy man to catch. Oh, Dampier's trying to help him get through this tonight. Now 1-score ball game once again, 28-21. Devin Dampier, the leading rusher for the Lobos coming into the night on the season. And he is creeping up on 100 yards in the game, creeping up on 1,000 yards on the season. Not too shabby for anybody, especially a quarterback. Now, let's see what John Mateer has to answer.
It's a duel. It is like we talked about at the top of the show. Two great quarterbacks going at it.
And we have a kick return from Leighton Smithson out past the 20-yard line. Mateer was 11 for 11 to start the ball game. Still pretty good numbers. 15 of 20 for 267 yards. And he's been off the charts the last couple of games. 14 combined touchdown passes and runs, completing 77% of his passes over the last 3.
And he might have had one series in the first half that wasn't super sharp, maybe 2. I think the least sharp he's looked was on the opening series here in the second half. We'll see if they can recover themselves, only up 7.
job buying some time here. Backpedaling in the pocket before he lets it go to Chris Hudson. We've seen that sidearm.
Yeah.
He's been throwing that a lot tonight.
He has that in his bag. He is really struggling a little bit more with the 8-man drop from New Mexico and the 3-man rush. He's got time back there, but really doing a better job in coverage on the Lobos defense.
Metier has 3 wide receivers to his left. Ololasi taking the handoff and diving ahead for the first down.
Up to the line again. It will be a first down.
And that's what New Mexico's trying to do when they drop 8 guys, trying to let Metier really feel that pressure of trying to find somebody within that web. And the sidearm throw got him in a position to get the first down through a run.
Look at the play selection, pretty even. 23 runs, 21 passes thus far for Washington State. Metier to his left, throws across the body. And it was Hudson, the intended receiver.
And they did not drop 8 this time. They rushed 4 and dropped 7. Metier still had a ton of time. The extra guy looked like that was Dimitri Johnson, the extra guy, and Metier really having to work for it and try to create it, and could not make it happen that time with Hudson. Second down.
Bronco Mendenhall and his defensive coordinator, Nick Howell, trying to mix things up a little bit. Play clock winding down. Just get it off. Metier on the quarterback draw with plenty of room. Gets an extra shove out of bounds. And the apology coming from Christian Ellis, who was the leading tackler for New Mexico. Here's another look, a 25-yard gain from Metier.
And look at this, they blitz to stop the run. They're bringing everybody to stop that play. And Metier is just so crafty, gives him a little stop move and moves his hips. And it was Metier that yanked at the face mask of Christian Ellis that made that a little bit more extracurricular on the sideline.
You know what I love about Metier when he runs is he runs like a running back.
Yeah, he looks like
switches the ball into the off arm so he can use the stiff arm.
And just the body language when he runs the ball is that of a back. That'll set him back.
False start, number 79, offense, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
That's Alili Famoe. And Metier with 61 yards on the ground on 8 carries. So the 2 quarterbacks, not a huge surprise, the leading rushers for their respective teams.
Yeah, I thought we might see, like you said, in the last series, a little bit more of Eli Sanders running down the field, but hasn't happened yet, and Parker hasn't been the impact player that he was last week.
Here's Metier again, just picking his way through that defense.
John Metier.
Not a big first down run, but solid on first down because he picks up 4 or 5 yards.
He's up and down, ducking and using that upper body like you mentioned. Strong legs, runs through tackles. He's a joy to watch.
That ball batted down
Looked like Parker caught it on the
carom.
yeah.
I don't know if they're giving him the catch or not. Either way, he's not going for a lot of yards. Here's another look.
Nice heads-up play by Kapai. Did he come up with that? Looks like he did.
Yeah, he caught it. So 3rd and 11.
That's a reception.
Metier with 3 wide receivers to his left. 5-man rush coming from New Mexico this time. Has to let it go early. And the pressure work paid dividends for New Mexico.
Yeah, they brought 4 guys, and then Randolph Kapai kind of waited and green dogged him. Meaning, look at Kapai right here. Look at him wait. He'll wait for Mateer to try to do something, and once Mateer releases, now Kapai comes down and forces that errant throw. Really well designed by Nick Howell, kind of keeping somebody in the reserves to stop Mateer when he escapes.
Is that kind of like a spy?
A spy, but you're also kind of green dogging and waiting for him to do something before you do something.
Ryan Davis with a fair catch inside the 10-yard line after the 37-yard punt from Nick Haberer. It is a two of the most dynamic in the entire country. Mateer with close to 350 total yards. Dampier almost 100 yards on the ground. Has already thrown for over 100. They've just combined for 7 total touchdowns. Not too shabby for these two guys.
Yeah, they have put on a show for us. Now Dampier with a long field to work. Oh.
Big hit coming in.
Threw it high for Wysong. Yeah, he got hit.
It was Latemua. But that's what we see a lot with Dampier. He gives it that run look and then kind of throws at the last second.
Yeah, he hasn't been maybe a couple times on the same page with Wysong. They're not exactly connecting like they normally do tonight.
Dampier using his blockers well and pinballing his way through that defense. Brings up 3rd and about 4 or 5.
You know, it's really hard to follow your blockers and do stop moves. Look at him follow his blockers and then get into the hole and then do a stop move there. To make people miss. Making somebody miss like that in a phone booth takes some serious skill and courage. Dampier shows it down in and down out.
That run sets up 3rd and manageable here. 2 for 7 on 3rd down so far is New Mexico. Wysong trying to fight for the 1st down, and he's not going to get there. Shoved out of bounds by Gushikin.
Yeah, Gushikin really ended that play where it looked like Wysong was going to find it. They ran an end around on a 3rd down for a 1st down in the last series, but that was to Sanders. This time, Wysong just can't quite get to the stick. And a couple of stops to start the 3rd quarter after an offensive explosion in the 1st half.
Rodriguez on to punt for the 5th time tonight. Tony Freeman right up the middle. Freeman with some room. Freeman inside the 30. And inside the 25, we do have a penalty flag down.
Tony Freeman only 8 receptions on the year, but making his presence felt on the special teams as we see what the penalty is. Looks like it's coming back.
Nolan Dumas, our referee tonight.
During the return, holding number 29, return team. It's a 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. It'll be 1st down, Washington State. Media timeout.
That's Jamari Colson who gets called for the hold. That's unfortunate for the Cougars because that was a heck of a return by Tony Freeman. It will be Washington hot start. Threw for 220 yards, perfect 11 of 11, 3 touchdowns. John Mateer's cooled off just a little bit as he hands it off to his freshman who fumbles. Mateer, Johnny on the spot, ball bounces right into his hands. A lucky break for the Cougars.
Wild moment as Bryce Santana, number 99, is just in the backfield right away. Or is that Tuatele? That's Tuatele, 89, who slides into the backfield right away, and that causes Parker to spin, and then the next man comes and forces the fumble, which so often happens when things get disrupted like that in the backfield. Very fortunate for the Cougs.
Lucky bounce for Washington State. Rossi hauls it in. He's still fighting. Does a nice job. He's about 3 yards shy, so certainly a manageable third down situation for Washington State after what could have been disaster on that fumble.
Get it to Pulalasi and let him create a little bit in an outlet situation. He did a good job staying in bounds and fighting for every extra yard to make this a little bit easier for Mateer.
Mexico defense, and New Mexico calling a timeout. Perhaps it was a substitution issue. Nonetheless, it is a timeout. Tuesday night on FS1, we have a huge doubleheader. 1st at 7 Eastern. Alex Caravan leads third-ranked UConn as the reigning national champion Huskies take on East Texas A&M. And then at 9, 13th-ranked Purdue battles number 15 Marquette. It all tips off Tuesday.
Shaka Smart.
FS1.
I know my hoops.
You do? I'd like to call a hoops game with you, Pete.
I'd do it.
I know you would.
I need Pereira.
We all need Pereira in our lives. And Blandino. All right, here's a look at numbers for Mateer on third down. 3rd and 3 coming up for Washington State.
They've looked, as we've talked about, a little bit more stoppable here in the third quarter. That could change quick.
Looping pass to Pulalasi. It's a little bit high and just over his outstretched arm, so that brings up 4th down.
I like the play call in the situation, the misdirection with the end around, with Hudson coming one way and then trying to throw it up for Pulalasi. Any receiver comes up with that. Maybe Mathers, your tight end. A running back, that's a little harder. When you want to throw the ball to the running back coming out of the backfield, usually you want it right on the numbers or 1 foot in front of the numbers. That one's going to be on Mateer in the meeting room.
He was trying to get over the outstretched hands of the pass rusher. Fair catch called for on the Nick Haberer punt. And Albuquerque, beautiful as ever. Still a 1-score ball game, just over 3.5 to go in the third quarter here in Albuquerque. And it hasn't happened in, about 20 years. Their last win against a ranked opponent for New Mexico, 2003 against Utah. Since then, 0-26. And he is very much in this game here tonight. After starting the season 0-4, they have 4 wins, tying the most wins in the last 8 seasons. And here comes young Eli Sanders putting his head down on first down.
It'll be interesting to see if here at the end of the third quarter into the fourth they can start to utilize Sanders' speed a little bit. They have not been able to establish him despite Dampier's brilliance throughout the game.
Dampier fakes like he's going to run. And he has the completion to Davis. Davis almost to midfield, picking up the first down for the Lobos.
Davis has really come on, become a dependable guy. A transfer out of UAB, and you see the route he runs, just coming all the way back to the ball, turning Stephen Hall around, who really had to account for the deep ball there. Nice play call.
It was a 17-yard gain for Davis. This is Sanders up the middle. I'm surprised they haven't tried to get Sanders out on the edge and in space a little bit more, since that seems like where he's been the most effective and gets those explosive runs.
They did it the first play of this drive, and they did it on a third down 2 series ago, but you're right, it's not been as much. They haven't had those vertical run lanes open up.
Dampier has a man wide open. It's Davis again. And New Mexico's moving.
They run the same play 2 plays ago to the other side. And they are so unorthodox offensively. Dampier with the
An
big
eligible
fake.
player downfield, number 52.
Yeah, they
Offense.
called that on
5-yard penalty from the
Luano.
previous spot.
The Mountain West freshman of the
second
week
down.
last week, the left tackle. Got a little bit too far down the field on the run fake. Got caught in no man's land. You'll see him right there, yeah, way downfield. Good call.
Well, he is just a freshman, still learning on the job and playing really well as of late. Got his first start against Auburn in week 3 of the season. And that's the case with a lot of these young players on this New Mexico roster.
And they raced a 26-yard gain.
Quick pass, picks up the first down. It's Wysall.
You're starting to get arguing between Latamua and Tyson Durant in the secondary. You see the route, just a quick look route, curling around Kyle Thornton off the fake. Beautiful throw by Dampier. That's been there this second half, 16 yards.
Here's Sanders, nice hole for Sanders. He just takes what the defense was giving him, and he's going to bring up second down and short.
I don't dislike him between the tackles. I like his speed through the hole, right? That time through the A-gap. He got there pretty quickly. I think they should utilize him a little bit more there.
I think they're listening to him. First down run for Eli Sanders, keeping the drive going, chains moving. And New Mexico now in good position to potentially tie up this ball game with the 18th ranked team in the country.
This has been a lot of what, oh, that's rough for Washington State to see Buda Alukta down on the ground grabbing that right leg. This is the position that the Cougs have found themselves in, Dan, on the road this year. They've had to fight and scratch in the fourth quarter for almost every one of their victories.
Let's see if we can find out what happened to Buda on this play.
Well, there he is, zero. He's right there at the legs of Sanders, and it looks like, yeah, his legs whip around and either hit the pile or his own man, Andrew Edson.
They are helping Alukta to his feet as Coach Dickert comes out to check on his best defensive players.
And that's heartening to see. Even though he's walking off a little gingerly, he's still moving.
He had that unbelievable forced fumble and fumble recovery last week. It was such a great individual effort. Just diving, pokes out the ball, gathers it himself. He has 3 forced fumbles this year, one of the key components to this Cougar defense. And Sanders with some room. And Sanders in for the New Mexico touchdown. We're an extra point away from being all tied up in Albuquerque. We said we were waiting for one of those explosive plays from Eli Sanders, and there it was, a 26-yard touchdown.
Just a weird kind of knowing look on the face of Bronco Mendenhall. He doesn't get too high or too low about anything, but what an accomplishment to climb back into this game for the Lobos.
And we are all tied up. New Mexico was down but far from out. And the junior from Oceanside, California, the Iowa State transfer, scoring from 26 yards out.
Just right up the hash, too, getting the ball out on the perimeter, getting, like we talked about, Washington State running sideline to sideline in that vertical run lane after chasing Dampier around most of the second half. And that's Isaiah Silliman, the Rhino position. Excited, a lot of excitement there as the Lobos are right in this against a great Washington State team.
Pretty incredible. I mentioned how they started the season with 4 straight losses. Then they won 3 in a row. They had to score 50 in each of those games to get the win. Then they lost a close one at Colorado State. They had a Wyoming game they lost that they easily could have won. And then they toughed out a win at San Diego State. Not an easy place to play, holding the Aztecs to just 16 points last week. And now they're all tied up with the number 18 team in the country, looking for their first win over a ranked team in 20 years. And here it was, October 25th, 2003. Look at this grainy old footage. New Mexico beats Utah 47-35. That was when Urban Meyer and Alex Smith were both with the Utes.
How about that? Great moment in New Mexico history. And I take umbrage to that comment. I come from the grainy era.
Grainy era?
I called games and played in the grainy era.
Well, we all love the grainy era.
Yeah, it feels like that it was grainy even from my eyes.
Well, they didn't have 4D back then.
Now, what can Washington State do? They have been stifled by this beat-up, ragtag, put back together 3 or 4 times New Mexico defense. They have stifled one of the great quarterbacks in the country this second half.
They have certainly slowed John Mateer down, and they've been doing it by generally only rushing 3 and dropping back 8. Let's see if that continues to be the plan of attack for this New Mexico defense. What a game we have here, all knotted up at 28. All tied up at 28, let's go! This is exactly what New Mexico State asked for, and they have it, a ball game going into the 4th quarter, trying to beat a ranked team for the first time in 20 years. And Washington State picking up the first down with that pass to Carlos Hernandez, who has been very good tonight. Reliable, sure-handed.
Maybe that snaps Mateer back into rhythm. Good throw, very crisp, and he's got crisp footwork. This guy really looks tight.
Pulalasi up the middle, kind of trips right as he crosses the line of scrimmage. Still picks up 4, maybe 5.
Another tackle by Devin Brant Epps, who tripped him up right there at the goal line. They're getting some pretty good play from their interior. They're really only using 3 guys to rush at a time and mixing in linebackers.
As he was falling down, it was the tight end Cooper Mathers making the catch for Washington State.
When you drop 8 guys like that, you have to find the hole, get it over the front guy and in front of the guy behind him, and Mateer did that really well that time.
Pulalasi for 3.
Around here, this part of the field is where most of these Washington State drives in the second half have sputtered a little bit. See if they can kind of break through.
We haven't heard a whole lot from Kyle Williams, who had such a monster first half. Here comes the pressure, has to get rid of it quickly to Pulalasi, and he is upended right away. Nigel Williams, like he was shot out of a cannon.
Nigel Williams, who's had to come off the field early in this game and last week, really recognized that beautifully and then takes the legs out of Pulalasi. And again, this part of the field has been tough for the Cougs. Another 3rd down situation and an opportunity for the Lobos, and they've gained more and more confidence defensively as this game has gone on.
Cougs started the day 2 for 2 on 3rd down, 0 for their last 5. 3-man rush again, plenty of time for Mateer. Gets it to Chris Hudson, and that's a first down, Washington State.
That looked like a lot of the action was over the middle, and that's where most of the Lobos were kind of crowded in. You see those
Holding,
crossing
number
routes.
79, offense.
Late flag.
10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Replay 3rd down.
Fa'amoe, Lili Fa'amoe, the captain, with the holding call. There he's like an NBA center complaining about the call. And there it is. He's got his arms right on Tuatele and it kind of pulls him down. Didn't have to do it, no doubt about that. His hands were inside. Usually you don't see that call, but he did grab him.
Didn't seem like it had a whole lot to do with the outcome of the play. Nevertheless, it's 3rd and 15. Matier buying some time, gets the sidearm pass off, but the New Mexico State defense holds, and it brings up 4th and 15.
4 drives that have sputtered now. Matier getting his body in the position to make that play, and Mathers did have a shot at it. It was right between his hands. Nice job by Matier just to give him a chance as Drew Speech was in the area. 4th and 15 now after the costly penalty. That's 4 drives, 4 punts in the second half.
Haber's punt, fair caught by Ryan Davis. At the 11-yard line, a 32-yard punt for Haber. We're still all tied up. This Lobos defense playing well at home in this, an entirely different story. Getting it done on the ground, ripping off some nice touchdown runs. That was Dampier, and then he's doing it here with his arm. And finally, we asked for it and we got it. Eli Sanders breaks along with a 26-yard touchdown run. They have scored 14 unanswered here in the second half, and we're all tied up. And there's another completion for Dampier to Ryan Davis.
And his second half, he's 5 for 8 passing after that one. 4 rushes for almost 50 yards and a touchdown. He was not extremely sharp with decision-making in the first half. That has changed dramatically. Look at this weird formation with the running back out here and an extra lineman here.
And there's Sanders again as he comes in motion. Almost a variation of the jet sweep a little bit.
Yeah, that's a jet sweep, but you don't have a running back in the backfield, so usually you give the jet sweep to a receiver or slot guy type. Instead, that's your primary ball carrier, the tailback, on the jet sweep, and the guy in the backfield is actually that guy, Silliman, who weighs 303 pounds.
That's what they like to do offensively. Jason Beck does a nice job trying to keep defenses off balance. Here's Dampier. Had a chance to run, lets it go! Wysong was open, had Tyson Durant beat, and Dampier just a little too much juice.
Yeah, and he does this. You're going to see Wysong win on the edge against Ethan O'Connor. Or excuse me, that's up against Tyson Durant. And I just don't think, I mean, you take off like that, everybody thinks you're going to run, everybody sees the lane.
Dampier on 3rd and 2 into plus territory. And look at how excited his linemen are. Richard Pierce jumping up and down. Getting out in front of him, too.
Here's that Rhino, Silliman, coming around again. And you see Dampier run right out of that. And the acceleration when he puts his head down and starts pumping those arms is really impressive. He had a long run against Wyoming where I just couldn't believe how quickly he got down the field when he decides to accelerate.
Dampier now over 100 yards in the game. Here's Sanders. Wrapped up after the 2-yard gain, Keith Brown. Bryson Lamb there on the stop for the Cougs. 12 carries, 121 yards for Devin Dampier, as he is getting dangerously close to 1,000 rushing yards on the season. 993. Sanders up the middle. And he has been effective between the tackles, been effective off tackle, averaging over 6.5 yards per carry in this game.
And they've overcome adversity here. That was a touchdown throw that was missed by Dampier as he's just still trying to get on the same page as Wysong.
Ball on the 35-yard line. Empty backfield for Dampier. Makes the jet sweep to Sanders. And he is wrestled down shy of the first down. So that brings up 4th and a couple. Going to be interesting to see what New Mexico does here. Drizwicki has hit a 45-yarder, but they're going to go for it. Massive substitutions being made for Washington State defensively. Here's the big tight end Silliman there in the slot. And the first down is all Devin Dampier.
He doesn't get tired. That's the thing. He doesn't come out. He doesn't get tired. He doesn't get hit and lay on the field for a long time. It's Silliman again, leading him through. And
of course he doesn't get tired. He's not Anthony Richardson.
I mean, these guys, it's not a video game. It's tough.
Quarterbacks aren't allowed to get tired. But look at him. Here he goes again. Devin Dampier trying to cut it back inside. Had he kept going, he might have had a touchdown. Tanner Moku, the strong safety, forces him to cut it back up. And he slips.
Yeah, he tries the stop move because he didn't have the confidence that he was going to be able to outrun Moku. But so many times when you do that, you just stop all your progress as opposed to just staying accelerated and trying your best to get to the end zone.
John Mateer looking on and has to be impressed with what he has seen from his counterpart.
He looks frustrated.
Devin Dampier.
Dampier up the middle.
Dampier now over 150 yards on the ground in the game, over 1,000 rushing yards on the season.
We're looking at really a program-defining type of second half against a ranked team for New Mexico. And what Bronco Mendenhall has done with this team after the start that they've had and overcoming adversity and identifying their playmakers and what roles they're going to play has been nothing short of remarkable.
It really is incredible what they have done this year. And Dampier working the hard count, trying to get Washington State to jump off sides. And it's a false start.
Offense, 5-yard penalty
on McKenzie.
Still second down.
Agnello.
Yeah, they have the center, Agnello, all the way out there on the edge. And I thought he thought that it was first sound. No one else did.
New Mexico, of course, the most penalized team in college football, just 5 for 40 yards so far in this game, well below their average of nearly 10 per. Second and goal after the false start. Dampier keeping it himself. Gets about 2 yards back, going to bring up 3rd and goal.
This is a big moment here. 7 points is what they want. That's what they've been able to do in the red zone throughout the evening.
3 for 10 on 3rd downs tonight. 3rd and goal situation for Devin Dampier. So dangerous with the ball in his hands, so they decide to let him throw it. They let him do it with his feet. Alva Peters in at running back. Alva Peters is open. Dampier looks the other way, keeps it himself. And he's forced out of bounds at around the 2-yard line. Sol-Jay Maiava-Peters was wide open.
You gotta laugh. I mean, look at this. It's like the longest pump fake in the history of mankind. Dampier's out here creating, and look at him just hold it up. He got Alupta in the air, and that's why he was able to get a couple more yards. 4th and goal, and they're gonna kick.
Luke Drzwicki on for the field goal from the left hash. It's a 19-yard attempt. It's up and it's good, and New Mexico on the board, and they take the lead by 3 at home. Back after this. Show now, it's the Devin Dampier show. Over 2,500 passing yards and over 1,000 rushing yards on the season. Just the 9th college quarterback since 2016 to do that. Names like Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts, Jaden Daniels, and he has joined a very exclusive club.
Wow, look at these guys.
Pretty incredible.
NFL MVP types, rookies of the year. Guys that have performed in Super Bowls, Heisman winners.
Kyler Murray on the list as well, and Devin Dampier joining a very exclusive club as he is trying to lead his team to victory over a ranked team for the first time since 2003. And Washington State obviously in familiar territory, trying to come back in the fourth quarter against San Jose State. They did it in the second overtime, a Payne Rush touchdown. They get the 2-point conversion, then San Jose State fumbles on a 2-point conversion, and Washington State wins it against Fresno State. Ethan O'Connor has a pick 6. Mikey Keene, they win that one 25-16, and then against San Diego State, they win as well. So these have been the Cardiac Kids. First 5 drives, they were on fire. Since then, a goose egg on the scoreboard. Let's see what Mateer can do here. Very close to the first down is Kyle Williams.
Great start to get it to Kyle Williams, get it out to your best playmaker from the first half. I mean, this has been a real tale of 2 halves. 17 points scored by New Mexico, 0 by Washington State. And that just got him over 100 yards for the half after that crazy first half of offensive firepower.
Kyle Williams had over 100 yards and 2 touchdowns in the first half. That's his first catch of the second half. Cougs keep it on the ground with Pulalasi, and he's into plus territory after that run.
Jackson Latabua ends up making the tackle, but just a zone run, and he gets up underneath the tight end Mathers and up the field. New Mexico's defense has found confidence and gotten off. Not been out there too long in the second half. Will they be able to dial something up to keep it going?
Here's Pulalasi again, this time around the left side. He's going to pick up the first down. Nice piece of running, and seeing a whole lot more of Pulalasi than we've seen
Officials,
in any game this season.
timeout for an injury.
Pulalasi kind of taking the carries that Parker was getting last week, as that is
Media timeout.
Noah Pulla-Gates. 3-point cucumber on the sideline. The linemen were kind of dancing to the music that was being played in the stadium. Mateer was seemingly calming down his offensive coordinator, Ben Arbuckle. Look at the numbers. He was on fire in the first half. Calmed down a bit here in the second. But I think they are very much focused and have been in this situation before. As pressure is coming, Mateer lets it go, and how about that? No wonder they're dancing on the sidelines, because Kyle Williams is going to answer their prayers. A 37-yard Cougar touchdown.
That's what's been there for Wazoo when they've had success. And it's the deep ball from Mateer to Kyle Williams. The young man out of Inglewood, California, started his career at UNLV from tiny St. Monica High School in Santa Monica, California. Not exactly a hotbed for talent.
And the extra point is good. Up by 4 are the Cougars. We do have a flag
Offside,
down.
number 47, defense. That penalty is declined. The try is good.
So it remains a 4-point ball game. And here's a look at the touchdown.
Yeah, he's right there in the slot between Hudson and Hernandez. Those are their 3 best receivers. And he just keeps going and runs right by Nigel Williams and then waits for that ball to drop, as we've seen him do before. Does a great job using his body naturally to shield the defender away. We saw him do that on both sides of the field. Mateer and him celebrating record-breaking.
And Kyle Williams has been something special the last couple of weeks. His 3rd touchdown of the night. He's gone for 172 yards, so it's his 2nd straight 3-touchdown game. And Mateer with his 4th touchdown pass of the night. I was just really taken aback by how calm they were on the sideline, being down by 3, your playoff hopes on the line. But to your point, as you mentioned to me off air, they've been through this before.
Yeah, they've been in this situation a couple times, and they've been in this situation on the road. They certainly aren't intimidated, but neither are the Lobos. And they've been the better offensive team here in the second half. 3 minutes left, plus change. This is going to be exciting.
New Mexico has outscored them 17-7 here in the second half, but find themselves down by 4. As Devin Dampier needs to continue what he has been doing in the second with his arm and with his legs.
Just acceleration when he attacks the line of scrimmage. Great job in the speed option. Much better executed this half as opposed to last half. See if he can get on the same page with Luke Wysong and really get this thing going.
Kind of a pump fake, pulls it back. And he's going to keep it himself and take what he can get on that one before he is escorted out of bounds by Isaac Terrell.
It's funny just to watch the confidence he has with the ball and the unorthodox things he does with the ball while he's on the move. And like we talked about earlier, Bronco Mendenhall knows the situation New Mexico football has been in for years. He loves it. Let it fly.
2nd and 9. Here's Dampier again. Cutting it back up inside, carrying a couple of tacklers with him before he's finally corralled by Adrian Wilson and Buda Alupta.
And Adrian Wilson really filled up and tried to stop that play about 4 yards earlier. But Dampier is just such a difficult guy to tackle and so elusive in his way that he fell forward for another few. This is a big 3rd down.
3 for 11 on 3rd downs tonight. Here's Sanders turning the corner. Sanders past the 50, staying in bounds down to the 32-yard line. Kapena Gushikin forces him out of bounds. And it's another big run for Eli Sanders. 33 yards for the junior. And here come the Lobos at home, trying to pull off the upset. Will be the biggest win in 20-plus years.
Start Saturday strong. The big noon Saturday.
Curtis Rourke and undefeated Indiana take on Ohio State.
Up for this game, the 3rd straight game for Sanders, over 100. And a November to remember continues for these 2 gentlemen who are now trying to do the impossible and pull off the upset. They do need to find the end zone to do so. And here is Dampier, escorted out of bounds, just shy of the line to gain.
I'm impressed with his ability not only to be elusive, but just to be relentless and keep coming. But they're also doing a great job blocking for him out on the perimeter. That time, Trace Bruckler again leading through.
And here's Dampier again. I don't know if he tripped or he slid down inside the 20.
Right now, New Mexico in control of this game. They're in field goal position. Here he is following the pullers like he's been doing all night. Lewan Owens and Beckett.
After picking up the first down, he went down. They're trying to manage the clock here. They don't want to leave it. A lot of time left for Washington State, but they do have to catch the football. Wysong with a rare drop.
That kills you when you're trying to manage the clock, and Wysong has been a little bit less reliable than he normally is with his hands. That's a play you have to make when you're trying to pull an upset and change the direction of your program.
Drop brings up 2nd and 10. His 3rd drop of the game, the normally sure-handed Wysong. Getting a little help from his running back, Makari Rogers, who's just fighting and spinning his way to set up 3rd and short.
The will of this Lobo team under Bronco Mendenhall, undermanned, and developed an identity late in the season. An 8-yard run, about 4 yards after contact. Rogers has been good in this game, spelling Sanders.
And look at that, mass substitutions, bringing in some fresh defensive linemen are the Cougars. 4 for 12 on 3rd downs tonight. Calling his own number is Dampier. Picking up the first down is Dampier.
So they're going to have 3 plays, if there's not a penalty called, to try to get into the end zone and win this game, maybe manage the clock a little bit better. Wazoo's got 3 timeouts. What do you call?
I think they call this. And they've run that play several times, kind of faking the jet sweep handoff to Eli Sanders, and then Dampier keeps it. Or maybe you give it one time.
And there was nothing for Eli Sanders there. If that ball was given, there was
30 seconds.
Only a little bit more for Dampier. As you see Coach Dicker trying to will his guys. You're going to see Sanders come around, and the edge is really defended there. As Milani comes in and hits Sanders right away. A little bit of a hole for Dampier to fall forward.
This is an opportunity for this Cougar defense to just bow their necks and make a stand. There's not enough time on the clock to get cute if you're New Mexico. You just got to try to find the end zone as soon as you can at this point. And they certainly are going to have the opportunity. Obviously 4-down territory, 2nd and goal here. Makari Rogers in at running back. Dampier cutting it back inside, diving, loses the ball into the end zone. They're saying he was down short of the goal line before the ball came loose.
Yeah, he put the ball down on the turf, I think, and that's how the ball got loose. He tries to jump over and doesn't quite make it to the goal line. Tanner Moku and Edson are there to make the tackle. He's about 4 feet off the ground. And yeah, at the last moment, it looks like the ball hits the ground when it's tucked into his arm and slips out there.
So good call on the field. He was trying to hurdle Moku.
They have an injured player in the end zone.
Well, we told you we were going to have offensive fireworks. What we did not tell you what this game was going to come down to the final seconds.
And you get a feeling about New Mexico where the way they've played the last few weeks, and then the fact that Washington State has been in some tough games on the road against Mountain West opponents.
With the game clock operator,
Buda Alupta down again, coming off the field.
2-4, please.
Dampier got pretty close.
Do you dare take it out of his hands here?
No, They have run some pretty efficient pop passes, and I think every one of us is thinking about Dampier taking the ball over the goal line.
Stopped due to a defensive injury. By rule, this situation qualifies for a 10-second runoff. New Mexico has elected not to take the runoff. The game clock will start on the snap.
All right, so there you heard Nolan Dumas. Lobos electing wisely not to take this 10-second runoff.
They could run a pop pass to Bruckler or somebody else. Luke is out. He's had 12 tackles in this game.
Here's Dampier forcing his way into the end zone. New Mexico takes the lead. It's been 20-plus years since the Lobos have upset a ranked team, trying to do so here against 18th-ranked Washington State. And with just 21 seconds left, the Lobos take the lead.
A great night for New Mexico football. Shaping up to be a legendary night in Albuquerque. What a run right behind Baraka Beckett. You were absolutely right, Dan. You knew they would keep it in Dampier's hands, and here he comes over to the right side. You see Beckett there pulling around and diving into the end zone after the left guard just manhandles Kyle Thornton. Or no, that's not Thornton. That's McKenna, who's on his back in the end zone, watching Dampier take the lead.
How about these Lobos? The guts, the execution, the heart, putting it all on the line tonight.
Been pretty impressive.
Led by Dampier. The passing numbers don't really wow you. He started off slow, but he's doing everything that has been asked of him here in the second half. As you see the breakdown, 24 points on the scoreboard to New Mexico. That defense,
yeah, you got to give credit.
Really played stout.
The New Mexico defense in the second half just played a different ball game than they played in the first half. Kyle Williams got away from him there on that very last drive for Wazoo to take the lead, but New Mexico answers at home and comes right back.
And a little pooch kick, fair catch called for. So 21 seconds for John Mateer to work some magic, and we have absolutely seen these Cougars do it before. A trio of fourth quarter comebacks. Their 8-1 start, tied for second best in school history, and John Mateer has been an absolute magician. Chris Hudson, Kyle Williams, Carlos Hernandez, and Josh Meredith. All very capable. Again, it's the three-man rush. Mateer buying some time, dumps off the short pass to Pulalasi. And the clock down to 13 seconds in the game. He's going to have to take a shot. 7 yards isn't going to do it here. Down by 3, a field goal would tie it up and send the game to overtime.
And they have Janikowski, who's been a great kicker, but they need some pretty big chunks before they can start thinking about that.
Mateer trying to work the sideline and not able to hold on. It's Chris Hudson.
Pass for a first down.
Did they say he had it?
He goes up. He gets a foot down. And the ball is jarred loose.
Then jarred out, but I think they said it was completed,
so
18 yards.
He completed the catch. I'm guessing they're going to take another look at this.
You'd think.
And there's Dean Janikowski, his season-long 52 yards against San Jose State.
And that's what pushed that game.
The ruling on the field of completed pass is under further review.
So they're going to take a look at this.
You think this was a catch?
They called it on the field. So, no, I don't. But if you call it on the field, and the slow motion, as we always know, is a little bit deceiving. I mean, he's got the necessary feet in, but does he complete the catch all the way through the action of the catch? Like, the 1 foot is down, but it just doesn't feel like he completes the catch before Pola Gates knocks it out. I mean, if you watch it in real speed, I thought the ball was incomplete. It looks like it scored it out. Catch down, yeah. To me, that's an incomplete pass.
I agree. Gonna be.
But it was called on the field that way.
But you have the evidence. You can see the video. To me, that's conclusive evidence that he didn't complete the process of making a catch. But certainly I've been wrong before, probably in the last 5 minutes. This is a critical decision.
After review, it's an incomplete pass.
So you were right there. Call's reversed.
That takes a lot of courage to reverse that call after it's been called on the field in a bang-bang play, but I think we all agree that was the right call.
Yeah, I don't know if Dickert would agree with you, but I think once he goes back and watches the tape, Jake Dickert's going to see that the process of the catch was not completed. That brings up 3rd down. There's 7 seconds left. Obviously, Washington State has all their timeouts, but they need to complete this quickly, get in field goal range, and call timeout. I don't know that you have enough time here to complete another pass.
Yeah, it looks like Hail Mary time. 3 seconds left as Kyle Williams hauls in another ball. He's had a career type of night, but it's going to be very bitter if Washington State can't find a way to force overtime here. Mexico wants to take a timeout and
third
set
and
their
final.
defense.
Charge from out of the half. New Mexico.
Well, we've certainly
30
seen some
seconds.
Hail Marys completed in the last few weeks. Jaden Daniels and the Washington Commanders.
What about
UCF had one just before halftime that they completed. I was on that call. That was amazing.
Mateer's old starting quarterback at Washington State, Cam Ward, against
Ward had
Virginia
one.
Tech,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Very controversial call earlier in the year. Colorado versus Baylor kept them going and in the hunt for the Big 12 championship.
Ben Arbuckle, the offensive coordinator in his 2nd season at Wazoo, coaching them up, telling them exactly what they need to do. There's a lot of luck and a lot of skill all at the same time involved in these Hail Marys. Everybody has their job, their duty.
They're going to rush 3 only.
And Mateer gonna launch it into the end zone. And that is it. The Lobos do the impossible and knock off number 18 Washington State. Their first win over a ranked team in more than 2 decades.
Bronco Mendenhall is the man for the moment in Albuquerque. What a hero to this program and these young men coming here, creating belief, and giving them the tools to succeed in November. They outscored Wazoo 24-7 in the second half and overcame a 14-point deficit. Wow.
And not only do they get their first upset over a top 25 team since 2003, they absolutely